Alrighty, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Nancy Walters. I'm the Executive Director of the La Jolla Community Center, and this is Wednesday Connect. Really happy that you joined us today. Wednesday Connect is a new virtual series where we just gather, we socialize, we connect, we engage, and hopefully learn something at the end of the day. So happy to have you here, and we hope that you come back and join us for other programs. Before I get started and tell you a little bit more about our speakers today, I want to just share my screen with you for 1 minute and tell you a little bit about some upcoming programs. So again, Wednesday Connect is a newish virtual series, and we host this every Wednesday at 10 a.m. And we've had wonderful speakers, including today. And next week we have a speaker. His name is Christian Robinson, and he's going to be talking about language and the brain and how important that is to continue a healthy brain throughout the aging process. And he's actually the owner and the founder of a Spanish school from Colombia, and we are actually starting virtual Spanish classes starting in about 2 weeks. So if you're interested in that, we have both group Spanish classes and one-on-one Spanish classes at wonderful rates that help both the professors that are out of jobs in Colombia as well as your pocketbook. So hopefully that if you're interested in learning Spanish, this is a great way to go. We also have on September 23rd, La Cena è Pronta, which is an Italian dinner is ready. We have two young up-and-coming opera singers who have put together a program where they sing along while teaching us how to cook special recipes. So that'll be really fun on the 23rd. As well as on the 30th of September, we have a tea talk, which I know it's hard to imagine drinking tea when it's so hot outside, but it's cooling off. And it's going to be the history, tradition, and more. And that's taught by Phyllis Carey, who is one of our resident chefs at the community center. So that'll be a lot of fun, and I hope that you can join us. Also, just to remind you that we have a lot of special programs that happen at the community center, everything from daily classes, including strength and balance. We have art classes, we have meditation, we have yoga. We also have some other programs like speaker series and wine tastings, and all of that information is available for you on our website, and that's ljcommunitycenter.org. So I really hope that you could join us there and come back and see us more often. And so, again, with that being said, this is Wednesday Connect. We thank you for being here. We hope that you engage and learn and connect with others. And without further ado, I was going to introduce Sofia and Helen a little bit more, but they have a really great presentation where they go into depth with themselves and their background. So I'm just going to say thank you, Helen, for being here, and Sofia for being here. They're going to talk to us about mindfulness-based stress reduction, which is something I think we all need. Thank you again for joining us. And without further ado, I know it's hard to tell, but your speakers are Helen and Sofia, and they're here now. And take it away, Helen.
Good morning, everyone. So lovely to see you all here this morning. And thank you so much for sharing the stressors in your life. And without further ado, I would like to present today's topic, which is, I'm going to quickly share presentation. And, well, mindfulness-based stress reduction. So every one of you, those of you who were open to share, did share personal stressors, and nobody actually said, I don't have any stress in my life at the moment. So everyone had some stress going on. Personally, for me, my son has entered middle school, and the distance learning is quite a stress for us right now, which was an issue right before this talk, because he wasn't able to turn in assignments through online, and it was lost somewhere in cyberspace. So, well, yes. So it's about stress and how to reduce stress. And there are many different methods out there, but today we're going to focus on how we're going to focus on reducing our stress using mindfulness-based interventions. So for short, we call it MBSR. And before we begin, I would like to invite all of you to close your eyes and arrive. If you're lying down, closing the eyes, and you're on the bed or the mat or the sofa. If you're sitting on a chair or a cushion, knowing that you're sitting, closing the eyes. And I invite you to take 3 long and deep breaths. Even letting out a sigh as you exhale. Letting go of all the logistics that it took for you to join this virtual space. Happened previous to this session, letting go of all of the tension, thoughts, and just let's settle in. Also letting go over the control over your breathing and just falling into the natural rhythm of your breath. As you sit here, breathing, I'd like to invite you to focus the attention on the soles of the feet, either on the contact with the floor, or if you're on the bed, maybe your heel is touching the mattress. Feeling, tuning in to the sensation of your feet planted here on the earth. Now let's move the focus of attention a little upper to your buttocks and your thigh, being in contact with the chair or the bed or the mat. Just feeling the sensation of the gravity working with your body. And from the buttocks, let's feel into the spine, straight, long, standing, sitting, lying, dignified, yet relaxed. Maybe tuning into the shoulders and seeing if there's any residual tension that's lingering. And if so, on the next exhale, relaxing the shoulders. Moving up to the jaw. See if your jaw is clenched or if you're biting down. Loosening the chin and the jaw. And moving up to your forehead, between the eyebrows, just smoothing them out. And coming down a little bit lower to your lips. Maybe having the ends of the lips curve upward into a slight smile, if that's comfortable for you. And as you sit here, breathing, sensing from the top of the head down to the toes, feeling into the body, sensing yourself sitting here in this moment. This breath. The mind may wander, as minds always do. When you find yourself in thought, just noticing that, bringing awareness to where your thought has gone to. And knowing that, that is the moment of mindfulness. And bringing your focus of attention back to the sensation of breathing and the sensation of body sitting here. In this moment, in this breath, this body, sitting here complete. There's nowhere to go, nothing to do. Sitting, breathing, sensing. When you're ready, please open the eyes and reorient yourself back to this virtual space. You may like to wiggle, move a little, and maybe opening the eyes and having a good look at the faces here that have joined us this morning. Once again, thank you for joining, and we'll move on in our presentation. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. I'm Helen Kim. I'm a psychiatrist from South Korea, and I specialized in geriatric psychiatry, wanting to not specialize in dementia or any of neurodegenerative processes per se, but rather wanting to learn about happiness and how to live a happy life, a fulfilled life. And wanting to learn it and share it with patients, family, and friends. And along the way, as I met with a lot of patients and also working full-time and being a mom, I experienced a lot of stress in the lives of my patients and my life as well. So there was sensation of burnout and feeling that I wasn't really taking care of myself. And in the middle of all of that, I realized that awareness is very important in every aspect of living. I learned this a lot from my patients and from my life as well. And bringing awareness, what could actually bring awareness without so much self-talk or logistical books and theories? And it seems that mindfulness was something that really brought out the awareness and wisdom from within. And from within, people and me can heal. So besides medication and all the other modalities that are out there, I seem to sense that with that, having self-awareness and wisdom grow within ourselves would be the most important part of any process or healing process in life. So with that being said, I came to UCSD Center for Mindfulness and began my journey as a mindfulness teacher, where I met Sofia Weber, who's going to introduce herself. Sofia?
Hi, good morning, everybody. I want to thank you all for being here as well, and Nancy for inviting us and supporting this since the very beginning when we knock on the door of La Jolla Community Center. I have taught at La Jolla Community Center since I moved to San Diego in 2008 or 9. I forgot, I'm from Colombia, and I study communication science and journalism. I've been writing for magazines and newspapers, and being also in radio talks and radio shows, and I have been working also editing books and stuff like that I love about communication, nonviolence communication. And I became a yoga instructor in 2008. But after all these many years working with people of all ages and conditions, I found mindfulness. And this mindfulness thing really, really caught my attention, and it caught my heart. And I know some of you may have experienced yoga before, but this mindfulness goes way deeper than simple yoga. And I fell in love with mindfulness, so I decided to become an instructor. I specialize in seniors. I created a series of chair yoga on YouTube. They are very well received by the communities, especially Spanish speakers. I teach bilingual, and I've been enjoying very much teaching silver sneakers for 12 years. And I have seen the benefits of mindfulness, not only in me, but also in my family, in my friends, and in my students that I have the honor to be teaching. So mindfulness to me is a beautiful path of not only self-awareness, but also finding what we think is lost in ourselves. So recognizing that beauty in each of us. So I want to tell you that mindfulness changed my life, and I think mindfulness, more than anything else that I have learned in the last years of my life, really put me into the path of knowing myself more and more. And I appreciate that, because that's what I wanted to do when I decided to become a nun. And I couldn't become a nun because I decided that I didn't want to join any temple or any master in particular. I decided that I was going to be a teacher instead. So that's my story. I get back the microphone to Helen. And
thank you, Sofia. Okay, so that's a bit about us. And let's ask you here, who have joined us today here, a simple question, simple, but maybe deep. What brought you here to this introductory mindfulness MBSR to introduction to MBSR class? You could just jot some down on the chat so that others can see.
Helen, if you can, speak up a little bit.
Okay. My speaker is sort of, does have this issue. Is this better? Can you guys all hear me?
That's better.
All right. Okay. Sofia said, love for life. What brought you here this morning to this introduction to mindfulness? Mainly because of my personal journey, Brigitte says. Thank you, Brigitte. Personal journey. love for life. For me, it was stress and anxiety. Ruth says peacefulness for peacefulness. Thank you, Ruth. Maybe a few more. Pain. Sofia wrote pain. Yes. I forgot to mention my pain. My ruptured lumbar disc is in pain at the moment. Yes, pain. Just a few more moments. If there's anyone else who would like to add. Stefan replied, focus or lack thereof. Yes, yes. Thank you, Stefan. Sofia also wrote curiosity. Okay, thank you. All right. Okay. Yeah, so curiosity, stress, pain, personal journey, and love for life, all of that. It just, me and Sofia just want to honor all of that you've shared and have not shared, but is very personal. That's okay too. Just honoring that, and maybe we can bring some useful tools or maybe some insights into what brought you here. You know, there are reasons for choices that we make, although they may be very unconscious. But these people, me, everyone, actually make choices because there is an internal motive. And hopefully some of those questions might be answered. If not, we would love to have you join our MBSR 8-week course. That's going to happen in September. And just a warm welcome to everyone here who share this common humanity of stress, pain, personal journey, curiosity, and all that. And I'll move on and hand it over to you, Sofia.
Thank you so much. I'm going to ask Martin Hall to please mute your phone, if you don't mind, Martin. Since you're my friend, I have the freedom to tell you in person to do that. Thank you so much. Well, I want to share with you the meaning of mindfulness, because some people said mindfulness is maybe paying attention, maybe mindfulness is knowing about the present moment, mindfulness is acceptance and all of that, but the definition of our teacher, Jon Kabat-Zinn, is mindfulness is the awareness that arises through paying attention on purpose in the present moment with no judging, not judging the present moment. How many times we said, oh, I'm sitting here, but it's too hot, or it's too cold, or it's my pain there. So we kind of put a lot of layers in the present moment instead of enjoying it. So we learn through mindfulness to really strengthen that muscle of bringing ourselves to the present moment without judging ourselves, without judging the situation, without judging others. So Jon Kabat-Zinn, it's doctor in MIT, and he actually founded the clinic of pain and chronic pain and in Massachusetts. He started to work with patients that were not having any results on healing through traditional medicine. So he asked the doctors in the clinic if he could please have a room to teach. So he started in the basement of the clinic, teaching some tools, meditation, yoga, some others like body scan, sitting meditation, walking meditation, and some informal practice like mindful eating, mindful walking, mindful cooking, mindful speaking, mindful listening. And the doctors start to see results. And in the next slide, I'm going to show you what they discovered after 30 or more years practicing the MBSR. Many teachers join, and not only in hospitals, but also in universities, in centers. The mindfulness, John Kabat-Zinn doesn't like it to call revolution, but I like to call it revolution because it's part of the evolution of our minds and our consciousness as creatures in this planet, as Helen mentioned, the common humanity. So in the next slide, we can see some of the things that meditation, mindful meditation, these practices can bring into our lives. So improves, and this is all science-based, improves immune system, sleep, efficiency of oxygen using the body, production of the anti-aging hormone, and decreases blood pressure and hypertension, cholesterol, anxiety and depression, and insomnia. So this being said, is not this is like a magic pill that we're gonna all take and everything is gonna be better tomorrow. I wish, but this requires practice. This requires dedication and discipline. And I'm not asking you more than 20 minutes a day, or maybe 5. So again, we are gonna, together we're gonna make that muscle of mindfulness stronger, and we're gonna use tools to learn how to do that. I give it back to Helen.
Thank you, Sofia. So MBSR has been made in the 80s, and it's the most extensively researched mindfulness intervention. So Sofia has beautifully shared the benefits that mindfulness meditation brings. And this has been a meditation has been around for thousands of years, but recently with the help of functional MRI, they're beginning to have exponentially increasing amount of research coming out of the benefits of meditation, especially in the brain. And, you know, brain is a very big hot topic right now because there's so much to uncover. And these scientists started to look into the benefits of meditation and what it really does to us, because since there's so many benefits, it's got to change something in our brain. So they've actually looked into MRIs, functional MRIs, which means they see how your brain activates while you're in an activity or while you're engaged in something such as meditation. So in those studies, what they have found for especially older adults is something revolutionary, like Sofia said. I mean, it's been around, people have been feeling, oh, meditation helps, but I'm not quite sure. But now they're having concrete evidence that it does change the brain. And long ago, brain was thought as fixed. You can't change the neurons in your brain. But scientists found out that neurons and the brain is very plastic. If there's plasticity, and if you use a part of your brain, the neurons will grow. If you don't, they will decrease. So mindfulness meditation and the brain, they found that they increase executive function, attention, and memory. Now, memory and attention, I think Stefan mentioned the focus in the intention of coming here. Memory is a very big issue with the longevity, and everyone just really, there's a lot of extensive research going on into dementia, and how to prevent memory loss is a big issue from middle age and so on. And what they found is that meditation increases the gray matter in the hippocampus, which is the epicenter of memory conduction, and the prefrontal cortex, where they do the judgment, the executive function, the planning. Oh, let's do this, let's do that. You know, all these functions that are very important for us to actually run this whole entire body. And the meaning of increasing gray matter means that your brain gets actually, as you age, the brain atrophies. It gets thinner and thinner and thinner. Picturing like a walnut, which is in the fresh walnut, the walnut itself inside the shell is full, but as it dries out, it starts to shake, and the walnut itself would grow smaller. So as we age, the neurons decrease and they become thinner with deterioration. So actually it becomes thinner and smaller. But it seems with mindfulness meditation, the gray matter increases so that it stays very fresh and plump. Just like how exercise would help, social activity would help, and also mental activity as reading and doing mental games would also help the plasticity of the brain. Mindfulness meditation will also invitate your brain to become more plump and young and fresh. And also it helps with regulating emotion. It decreases worrying and rumination and anxiety. And there is a center in the brain called the amygdala. Some of you may have heard of it. It's the alarm system is in there. So if the amygdala is big, it means that your alarm system is too sensitive. But in mindfulness meditation, people who have meditated for a long time, the amygdala, the alarm system becomes very compact and small so that it doesn't go off unnecessarily, but only when it needs to. So this actually calms the mind. And it helps with sensory motor function, and especially it helps the cerebellum, which is used for balancing in your brain, and your brain stem for breathing and heart rate and all of the essential stuff that we need for a living. So in those areas, the brain mass, the gray matter actually stays fresh and healthy, which means you're able to balance easier, which can help decrease risk of falls. Now this is, and also the very most important, I think, aspect of mindfulness and MBSR is that the research into pain is very extensive at the moment. And a researcher at UCSD right now is researching how the mindfulness meditation can help rewire our brain so that we're less sensitive to pain. And it seems that pain is inevitable. Everyone's going to experience pain, but the more you've practiced, and long-time mindfulness meditation practitioners experience less intensity in pain. And this is because when you meditate, it seems that you feel the pain and you are more aware of the pain, but the sad judgment, the anxiety, and the worry about the pain, the unpleasantness that comes with the pain decreases. So it seems that the brain is really smart enough to say, oh, I feel pain. It's okay, let's take care of it. It's not going to be sad. It's not going to, it's building a whole story about the pain of how I ruined my life because I hurt my back, which is my case right now. And I used to ruminate all the time, but it seems that with mindfulness meditation and the more I practice, I just receive it as intense sensations and not so much about the thoughts and the feelings and the emotions that are negative. So these are some of the research that are going on, and there's another research at UCSD that's going on with older adults where there's a group that does just health education and yoga and actually mindfulness meditation. So I don't know when the results will be out, but that would be very, very interesting to figure out. And this is in part, you know, everyone wants to have a independent living as long as they can. You know, we want to walk and see the beach and see our grandchildren or be with our family and live the way we want to live independently. And I think mindfulness could be a very big non-pharmacological tool to help us retain this body that we have for this lifetime. And with that being said, I'll hand it, actually before I hand over to Sofia, let me briefly go over what our 8-week MBSR includes. There would be guided instruction and mindfulness meditation practices. So we're going to teach you the ABCs of how to sit, how to move, and how to begin the meditation practices over the 8 weeks. And by the end of the 8 weeks, you will be able to be actually meditating on your own or with a little bit of a guide, but feeling more comfortable with the practices, which include gentle stretching, mindful yoga, and also exercises to enhance awareness in everyday life. There will be group dialogue, individually tailored instructions, home assignments, and guided audio files for practices, as well as worksheets. So with that being said, we're going to hand it over to Sofia for a gift for all of you.
Yes, we wanted to give you a gift for your time and your mindful presence into this talk that we put together with so much love. So I'm going to invite you to, if you can, sit in a comfortable sitting position. And I'm going to invite you to start rotating your shoulders in circles back very slowly. And see if you can connect this movement with your breath. Maybe inhaling when you go up and exhaling when you go down. Maybe do it a little slower. We're going to do one more, inhaling up, exhaling down. And mindfully, we're going to change the direction of this rotation, doing it forward towards the screen or the front of our rooms, feeling this motion in both shoulders, connecting this motion to the breath, and maybe listening mindfully to all the sounds that our body produces without judging. Very nice. Now we're going to bring the shoulders back and down, and we're going to bring the chin slowly down. And slowly we're going to bring the chin towards one shoulder. Keeping the chin down, we're going to bring the chin towards the opposite shoulder. If you want to close your eyes, please do so. If you want to soften your gaze, also do so, whatever you choose. If you want to keep your eyes open, that's also okay. Whatever is better for you right now, we honor whatever decision you make, whatever you need. You know your body better than us. So we're going to do 2 more times, very slowly, this motion of the neck, softening perhaps the muscles on the neck and the region of the cervical. Coming back to the center, mindfully, we're going to bring the chin up, and slowly we're going to rotate the head back towards one shoulder, and slowly towards the opposite. Feeling whatever is here to be felt, whatever sensation comes to our mind, pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. Connecting with our breath, we're going to go to one side and then the opposite side again. Very nice. Coming back to the center with the head that is carrying our beautiful brain that we're going to keep it strong and healthy. And we're going to now make a prune face. Prune face. So we're going to squeeze all the muscles of the face. Squeezing the eyes, the nose, the lips, the cheeks. Squeeze, squeeze, and release. Again, we're going to squeeze the muscles again. Maybe we're going to take a really good inhalation. And we're going to squeeze, 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 and release. One more time, we're gonna inhale, making this prune face, squeeze, 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 and release. Very nice. Now we're gonna open and close the eyes. Open and close the eyes. If you have your glasses on, I would like to invite you to take your glasses off for this exercise. Open and close your eyes, making those muscles of the eyes stronger. Honoring this moment where our eyes are working. However, honoring also our sense of feeling, hearing, testing, tasting, all the senses that come with this physical body. Opening and closing our eyes, making sure we're breathing. And one more time, opening and close. We're going to keep the eyes closed for one deep breath. And in the next exhalation, we're going to really relax as much as we can. And as we inhale, we're going to open the eyes very, very slowly. Now you can put your glasses back on. And if you can share in the chat how you feel with these simple yoga exercises, I appreciate to hear from you. Some people express they feel more relaxed. Some people express they feel worried because the muscles are not as lean as they used to be, or maybe some people can feel a little bit of pain, so they can express concern. But our invitation in our class is that you feel whatever it is to be felt and honor that feeling, knowing that you always can choose how your body is reacting as well as your mind. But we want to invite you to always be kind with yourselves. So after this gift that I just gave you, this moment of movement, I would like to now tell you what are we going to do with La Jolla Community Center. Helen and I are teaming up to start teaching an MBSR workshop or cycle, because it's 8 weeks. We're going to do it for 9 weeks because we're going to start on September 21st at 9:30 a.m. for 1 hour session, so we can know each other and we can check in the cyberspace, technical concerns. If we have the microphones, everybody's working, microphones, cameras, how do we like to do this in a more friendly way? So we're gonna meet on September 21st for 1 hour. The following Monday, which is September 28th, we're gonna meet for 2.5 hours. And then we're gonna meet for the following Mondays until November 16th. For our sessions, you will have some homework to do, and we're going to be right here for you to guide you, to assist you, to make this journey that we're going to take together as pleasant as possible. Sometimes it's not going to be pleasant, it's going to be difficult, but we all together going to make this beautiful. I will guarantee that Helen and I are going to be here for you 24/7. So we also have a retreat day on Saturday, November 7th from 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. And we will explain more about that day, which is a very important day in this cycle, in this workshop. And we are offering this more than 36 hours of class. We're going to offer this for La Jolla Community Center for $130. You can see that is maybe 2 Starbucks coffees per day. People will spend maybe $12 into Starbucks coffees. This is very inexpensive. We really hope people can sign up and have the commitment to come to each class, because it's very important. This is a cycle. Each class is designed in such a way that we will take you to this journey in, as I said, in a very graceful way. And we hope that you can join us. We need minimum 8 people to really make this class happen. So I want to thank Nancy and Deb and everybody at La Jolla Community Center that have supported this class, and I really hope you can take it. And Helen and I will be honored to have you. And we understand the situation right now is a little difficult because of the computer. It's not easy to be in front of a screen for 2.5 hours, but we're going to be practicing because, as many teachers said, practice is what it is what is the important thing about this exercise of making this muscle stronger. And I want to thank you again. And if you guys have any questions, we're happy to answer them or help you to find the answer. I give the microphone back to Nancy, and she will guide you through the questions and answers, period. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sofia. Thank you all for joining us. And again, I mean, that was wonderful. And I hope that those of you seeking peace or are just curious about the course are more intrigued and definitely more interested in taking the course. And if there's anybody who has any questions right now, feel free to unmute yourself, and Helen and Sofia will be here for another few minutes if anyone has any questions that I'd like to ask. I don't see. You are muted, so you'll have to unmute if you, or you can use the chat function. Martin, does it look like you're, there you go.
Hi. The issue I have is, like most people, I have lived with these signs. You study something, you're going to complete, you start working, you're going to continue working, so you're very dedicated to a track. And hopefully you pick the right one and something with good motivation and so on. But I know some people who didn't. And either way, you are set on a track somewhere. And this is something different, or I think I perceive that as something different, which is a bit of a questioning the track where you're in. And I see that especially in my kids. My daughter is a practitioner of these similar things to this, and they question what they're doing. They review what they're doing a lot more than I did. And so there is a change in attitude, and I wonder if it's something that is generational. I think that people who grew up with so many years going on the track as I did will have a hard time making the transition. Probably very necessary anyway, but it would be a lot more difficult than by somebody who's in their 20s. Is that the case?
Helen or Sofia, would you like to address?
Martin, I'm not sure if I understood your question correctly. Is it about your children in the 20s in the current situation, or?
What I was saying is, we grew up in a period where you studied this, you worked there, you tried to stay there, and you didn't question very much. I know people have worked in a place 30 or 40 years without being particularly happy, but they were there, it was security and so on, and there was no questioning. So I have the impression that younger people switch easier, that they are questioning what they are doing more frequently than we did before. So the question is there the new generation is more bringing into question what they're doing, and that would mean the significance of mindfulness for them being something closer to what their natural attitude would be.
Okay. Yeah, that's a very big and deep question. Thank you for the question, because I remember reading an article that said mindfulness increases with age. So younger people might have the health, the time, the strength, but they're not so mindful yet. And that means with time and experience, as we grow older, people do get more wise and they become more mindful. But that doesn't mean, we don't need to strengthen the mindfulness, because just because we're like 1% wise doesn't mean we're 100% wise. There's no limitation to how wise you can get. So maybe in this class at La Jolla, it could be for mostly older adults who are wise, but strengthening their wisdom and mindfulness as we do the practices. For younger generation, there are mindfulness schools and mindfulness programs just dedicated for kids in college, kindergarten, elementary, and that's being developed right now because people see the necessity of developing this characteristic, which is, we're born with this characteristics of mindfulness. It's innate, but is it strengthened with exercise, and so that it grows as a muscle, or is it just gonna deteriorate and become atrophied? So what you've mentioned is that the younger generation tend to move here and there. They're not so dedicated, which might be true. So maybe even the older generation, we need to more experience this quality and emphasize that the younger generation actually implement this in their lives. And that could be an inspiration as well. So I don't know if that answers your question, but
yeah,
that was on my heart. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Anyone else have a question? If not, we've reached 11 o'clock, so thank you again for joining us, Sofia and Helen. Wonderful presentation. I hope that those of you still here with us will consider enrolling in the course. As you can see, it's going to be extremely beneficial, not just for the present, but for the rest of our lives. It seems it's a way of life. So thank you so much again for being here. And if you have any questions or any follow-up questions, I'll be sending out an email for those participants of today's class with contact information for Sofia and Helen in case anyone has additional questions that I won't be able to answer. So thank you, Sofia and Helen. Any parting words?
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.